Namaste. We have heard about different types of economies. The new buzzword that is going to rule the world post-COVID era is going to be low-touch economy. In this video, we'll be discussing about the aspects of low-touch economy and how is it going to impact the human as well as the consumer behavior. So, we have already seen that during the lockdown period, we have seen a lot of new rules that is coming up and that is being removed. For example, we have seen new rules like limited gathering, travel restrictions, the new hygiene requirements that is coming up, and the need for protecting the vulnerable group, that is the children as well as the people aged more than 65. Now, at the same time, the new habits that is being developed is going to stick on for a longer period of time, like remote working, mixed work-life balance. People are finding it difficult to work from home at the same time, manage the work whole course, because before it was like work life as well as the home was separated. But now since both are mixed, it's going to be difficult to draw a line between both of them. Now, access to e-commerce and logistics and e-health are going to sprout much more to a greater extent in the coming days. Now, the second order effects of these frontline activities are going to be much more shocking. Like 1/3 of the global population is going to be in some sort of lockdown or a temporary lockdown, and the world is expecting massive unemployment rates that be followed by mass bankruptcies, bailouts, etc. It's going to be a reality in some way or the other. Little scary, but let's hope it does not impact in a greater sense. Now, something like geopolitics. We have heard about globalization, localization, and all. Now, what is geopolitics? Now, with the borders being closed and the new laws are fueled by existing xenophobia. What do you mean by xenophobia? It's like fear of strangers. And populism. Populism is like the poor or the middle class or underprivileged are getting the feeling like they are not being heard by the elite or the so-called people who are deciding their future. So geopolitics is also something that is going to affect or going to come out in huge numbers. So on this aspect, let's focus on the expected shifts in the consumer as well as the human behavior. Now, we have already seen there is a small shift that was happening. Now, that shift is going to be much more faster. Now, the acceleration of these research and development on these areas are going to be in a much more faster rate. Now, F1 has switched to esports, online sports with real drivers in them. Now, police in China has devised with something like an infrared helmet that can detect the virus infected people. And Aloft Hotel in Detroit has come out with indoor door delivery robots. So this kind of innovation is going to be much more prevalent in a much more accelerated fashion. We'll focus on the 10 different shifts that is happening on the human behavior post-COVID era. Now, the first shift that is going to impact is anxiousness, loneliness, and depression. People will be feeling more anxious about their future, their job, and that is whether they might get confronted with sickness, about their relationship issues. So what could be expected is like there will be tremendous need for remote therapy and coaching. Now, the demand for pets is also increasing because that could alleviate their loneliness, and people might turn a little bit into farming and all sort of stuff. And there are a lot of people, in order to avoid their boredom, going to online gaming, especially those games where they can chat and interact with people like House Party, Discord, and a little bit of PUBG, where you can talk to people around, as well as Ludo games, where there are a lot of social interactions happening. So the second shift that is expected is damaged trust in hygiene of people and products. People are very suspicious whether the people with like xenophobia, they are scared if the people they are interacting with is safe and hygienic and not having the virus infection. Now, there is a food delivery in China even shows the real-time temperature of the delivery boy who is coming. So it even shows a real-time picture of the person if he is infected or not. So what is to be expected is This can revamp the packaging redesigns and sharing of personal health records, that is real-time personal health records, in order to show their hygiene status. Now, third shift that is going to affect is extended travel restrictions within a country. Now, travel industry is one of the industries that is going to be highly impacted because of this COVID era. Now, so what can be expected is the local tourism might flourish or will flourish. Traveling abroad, you should even think about the quarantine period as the traveling time also. Now, the taking a period off into some rural areas that could be clubbed with their workforce, like rural and remote, taking their work into a rural area where they can do their work and enjoy the scenery, could be something like a big luxury in this post-COVID era. And the fourth shift could be the work-home relationship, work from home, that is the optimized work from home setups beyond typical office jobs. Now, in prior area, in before time, we could at least go to office, work during the work hours, and then come home and spend our quality time. But now that borderline of work-life balance is getting demolished when people are working from home. So what can be expected is like people will bring in special equipments, machines, and advanced video setup to accommodate this change. And maybe new policies and new insurances might sprout in this particular area also. Now, the rising of tension and conflict at all levels is the next shift that is going to impact. Now, law and order will be seen mostly happening online, and more tools and automated legal work is going to sprout to a greater extent. A scary fact is our next shift, that is the unprecedented levels of global unemployment. Now, what is to be expected is you can find a lot of reskilling and training, which is going to be it's going to be witnessed in a huge, humongous effort. At the same time, people will find it more appealing, or they might switch to entrepreneurships, to a small entrepreneurships, and so that they can boost their family budget. Now, both these options will bring valuable experience once the economy catches back. So for a short period of time, this is going to rule. Now, the next shift is going to be the takeout or home delivery of everything. So there could be new ideas that going to come up in home delivery, like, specialized home delivery solutions like drop-off points for frozen cold food or something, and more advanced and more sophisticated supply chain optimizations. For example, there is multiple shops bundling deliveries to the same household or street. So these could be, so that people doesn't move out much more frequently, and they try to do everything from their home, and low-touch economy is going to rule like that. The biggest shift, or one of the most vulnerable society, is going to be the aged people. So limit contact with the old generations, and you can see a public gathering which is devoid of these vulnerable or the weaker parts of the society, and this might prolong for a few years of time. So the next shift, the ninth shift, is going to be like something like our identity is more than our job. So nowadays, when you do a video conferencing or a con call, the people out there are going to see your family, your bedrooms, your dining areas where you sit and call. So maybe your colleagues are going to know you much more better. So maybe that is, our identity is going to be something that is going to be very, very virtual now. Our fashion is not about our dresses. It may be about the virtual room. Maybe you're seeing me. So you are going to assess me not by the way I look and the dress I wear, maybe about the environment of this particular studio, how I speak. So all those are, our identity is going to be more than our job in our coming area, in the coming post-COVID era. And the last shift is the value of certified immune consumers. Now, if your business model is something related to a packed, like, where many people are gathering, like about whether it is an entertainment business or cruises or about events or festivals, then it might take a little bit more time so that we can catch up on this particular thing. So what is going to be seen in the near futures could be something like solo dining. It just could be an example. Solo dining booths or human-free interactions or robot waiters that we saw in the hotel in Detroit. So that is that has been coming up in the certified human consumers parlance. Now, so based on these human behavioral changes, so how these industries are impacted with the COVID era, if you look into this particular analysis that has been released by the board of innovation.com, we could see that industries are divided into 7 different sectors, where the highly impacted industry is going to be tourism and hospitality, followed by sports and music. Moderately affected would be automotive, beverages, and retail. And the least affected is the pharmaceutical industry. So on this offset, what could be the future? Now we should set up our new economic growth initiative based on 4 different strategies. Like, you have to first of all assess the impact of the low touch economy in your area, whichever area of your business that you are focusing on. You have to assess like how the new touch economy is going to impact your area. Develop a new strategy incorporating the low touch economy. Come out with some core competencies that can really make your business much more effective in this post-COVID era. And rather than going on offensive, like, develop a new opportunity and try to make it happen. Give as an add-on with your product. So these are the different things that being into business that we should focus on. As a tip on the iceberg, we have seen that human mind has special gift of surpassing hurdles. We have seen world wars, we have seen earthquakes, we have seen floods, and we have seen even bigger pandemics. But we have never failed. We shall overcome, and we will overcome. Thank you very much.